He's been addressed as he's a senior citizen.
That's all.
That's all.
That is his qualification.
So how will the Vapo Oprah Winfrey's father then be described? Senior citizen. Spare me, I just did that thing. Obviously, I say I'm a young senior citizen. Let it end there.
Seniors Day.
Yeah.
Senna.
It is nice to hear from you this morning. I hope you're well.
Well, by His grace. I hope all of you too.
We are fine.
Great.
We're fine. Well, let's talk about this issue. And I'm sure perhaps it came to your attention, the demonstration that was held by the New Patriotic Party. They chose quite an interesting name for the demonstration. They call it Democracy Under Attack. You've seen, I'm sure you've seen more than one attempt by Ghana at democracy, the ones that failed at one term and were replaced by military rule, and this one that we seem to have sustained since 1992. Whenever somebody says democracy is under attack, I wonder what goes through your mind, Prof.
Yeah, I think the previous speaker, Professor Azin, what's the name? Sorry.
Professor Ayalazano.
Yeah,
Jasper, yeah.
I think he did a clear justice academically and politically, perhaps, with the topic. And for me, when the animal rights lawyer called me last night, I was wondering, without, of course, doubting the direction of your day's program, why you accorded Afenyo Markin's comments any prominence. But I realize the other side of it is just the point you made. Democracy under attack. Perhaps a memory lane from our pre-colonial or pre-independence struggles to date. But let's take the messenger, in this case, Honorable Afenyo Markin. You see, his utterances, perhaps you see a veiled attempt to maintain his position. And if Bawumia is to pose any serious challenge for the elections, my humble advice is that he should replace him or reshuffle the current leadership. But of course, they are going for elections, so it's likely they will have a new face. But if you look at the caliber of leaders, the two parties who have dominated parliament since 92 or 93 have had. You mentioned J.H. Mensah in opposition in 96. Late Dr. Kwabena J. may so rest in peace, fairly so. I mean, Papa also and Koma and all the both sides. I mean, Right Honorable Bagme had been a leader, Idris Haruna, etc. I don't think Afenyo Markin, with due respect, is doing any good justice to the image of leadership that we have had over the last 34 years. And my humble advice is for him to revise or rather look at himself to really maintain the integrity and the high standard set. His utterances at times appear to be more of a student's politics, where, we rabble-rouse and say so many things, some sensible, some you see the idealistic. And so when you talk of democracy under attack, let's recount some few incidents. I am also West, under the watch of a government that he was the majority leader. What happened? The 10 people or 8 people who died in the 2020 elections. What happened? The journalists who were arrested for doing their professional work. Radio stations that were closed down. Have we had any of such incidents in this Mohammed's administration? Even their own internal politics. When a Congress that elected President Akufo-Addo, then a candidate, that same Congress elected their General Secretary, their Chairman Afoko, Sami Crab, etc. What happened? And they were thrown. Go and ask my good old brother, Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo. What has happened? You understand? And so, when you hear such statements, you just let them pass. and don't give those things great prominence. But I think on the education aspect, the prof had really educated us and giving us solid viewpoints back with evidence. But you see, it is important also that Afenyo Markin especially, or the leadership, should take note of the complexities of our political leanings since the First Republic, or rather the Second Republic. Nkrumah's government was overthrown. We talk of one-party state. Then we were ushered into the Second Republic, Progress Party, Nationalist Party, National Alliance of Liberals, and so many. So there were many people who are today close in MPP or NDC who were with various parties. In fact, Peter Lagete was not a member of the PFP. Neither was Pawili. Pawili was a member of the Progress Party, but he led the UNC. You understand? Then Pawili was with the Progress Party, but come to the Third Republic after just 27 months. We were ushered into the constitutional rule before September 24th. Of course, parties were formed: the People's National Party, the Popular Front Party, the United Nationalist Convention, that's UNC, and many, many parties. And there also, you could see the leanings. Late Right Honorable Peter Lagete was with the UNC, so was Pawili. And then Dr. Obeda Samwa was also there, who was the running mate to Pawili, the current chairman of the Council of Elders, Honorable Alhaji Idrisu. Many leanings. You had late the Harry Sawyer, who was also with the UNC. Then we came into the Fourth Republic, and you see realignment. You know, those of us who were youth members of the then ruling PNP, we have cause to be we have a cause to be a bit disappointed and angered because of the coup that truncated perhaps our political aspirations. But that is part of it. Even Dr. Hilal Liman, who was president, was overthrown. I worked closely with him at the beginning of the Fourth Republic, and he kept on saying Rawlings was not a coup maker. People used to accuse him of sort of instigating Rawlings to stage a coup. He said, how could I have done that? Within the 27 months, there were more than 15 coup attempts, and one succeeded. You see, so the 14, if I wanted to be removed through a coup, why would I, abort 14 of them? He kept on saying that Rawlings was not the coup maker. And look at it. People who went into the PNDC and later on the NDC, you understand? Early 1981, Victor Usu, of blessed memory, who lost to Liman in 1979, went to UK. When he came back, he said Liman must go. Constitutional era. He said Liman must go. How could he go when the elections were slated for 1983? The coup took place, and he said the coup was long overdue. And who were the people they then formed the United Party to contest the PNP in 1983. Dr. Obeda Samwa was the general secretary. Alhaji Idrisu Mahama was there. And the late, Mr. Asante, KB Asante, was also there. But now we have evolved into two parties where President Kufuor served as a secretary, then we will call it minister, for local government for 7 months. Do you understand? So the landscape has evolved, but it appears Afenyo Markin is unconsciously and perhaps ignorantly pursuing that bitterness that people had against Rawlings. You see, and I don't take Rawlings or late Rawlings, may he still rest in peace also, as any enemy, in the sense that that was what happened, and we have accepted it, that we have evolved. So if some few people, and there are people in the CPP who are also bitter because they felt they were, their families or some of them personally were harassed, some intimidated, incarcerated, etc. So we know those bitterness, we cannot erase them because it's a pain and you only pray for forgiveness. You may not forget. But we should be careful where we are. If there is any threat or rather attack on democracy, it emanates from the MPP led by this current crop of leaders. Because they don't have any case. So we don't need to lament or even, you see, when Prof was talking, it was clear like it isn't like he was short of ideas to educate us, but like the topic you gave him to respond to the comments by Honorable Afenyo Markin was like a topic in the class where you don't expect certain low-level type of questions. But be that as it may, if the questions are posed, you must explain or you must answer. That's it. So don't let us give any prominence. The only advice, as I keep saying, is that if MPP wants to mount a credible campaign that will really resonate with their wishes and aspirations, they should just remind themselves barely 2 years ago. We don't want to bring our personal experiences and areas of pain, but they shouldn't take Ghanaians for a ride. But power is for them to look for. If they don't want it, you can't beg them not to want it. You can't beg them. So they should maintain this type of leaders who will rabble-rouse and they think we are all, sorry to say, idiots. You understand? How many registered members? I keep asking you, Senna. Let's ask Honorable Asiedun Ketia. How many registered card-bearing, paid, the dues-paying members does the NDC and also the MPP? How many do they have? We are over 30 million. Can they boast of 10 million? They're not. So you don't speak for us. And they, of course, give some sensitivity to our sensibilities. That you tell us that democracy, everything is not perfect. But if you want to tell me that somebody sits in a flat house and he commits something that is alleged to be a crime and is being prosecuted, then democracy is on attack. Is the mining activity, is it part of the wings of the MPP? So how would his incarceration that follow due process? And you have a right to appeal. You say you will do so, fine. So any political party activist who does anything and is of criminal intent or criminal, then or it's a crime, we should ignore him because he's a party member. And hear him also that you let matters rest. What you are doing to us will do to you. Is that how things have been reduced to? Then you say democracy is on attack. When we come back, we serve notice. We will restore the Chief Justice. And that is democracy. When you remove, what do you call it?
Madam Charlotte, I say, yeah.
Charlotte, you remove him. Was she given the privilege of looking at the petition? And who petitioned without downgrading the level of anybody? Was it not a driver? I'm in the university now. You tell me if our vice chancellor or anybody has done something, it is a driver who will go and petition council and council will uphold it. It does not mean we don't look at the matter that has been brought, but look at the moral aspect of it. Charlotte was not given a copy of the petition to look at to prepare for her defense. But didn't it happen with our former Chief Justice? And then you say when you come, you will restore her. So if the woman, if you want to tell me that you appointed a Chief Justice who is a card-bearing member of the MPP, I don't think so. And he is in Parliament. When the Carlos Ahinkra, is it Carlos Ahinkra also stole the ballot papers and chewed them? Is that part of the democracy he's talking about? And when matters were in Parliament, he rushed to the Supreme Court that sought to put aside the decision of the Supreme Court. Was that democracy? So I don't give any credit to his statements. I think it's more of rabble-rousing. And as I said, the best advice I can give to Dr. Bawumia's campaign is to look at the current leadership. Those in elected positions, I believe when they go to Congress, definitely there will be a new face. But the parliament leadership we have now, well, I don't want to force myself because it is their decision. If that serves their interest, let them continue. But yes. I know, like me and the rest of the population, we are, sorry to say, not idiots.
That's an interesting suggestion because he has called it the minority a mighty minority. They've done a yeoman's job. He's the leader of the mighty minority.
So it's a delusion of grandeur. The delusion of grandeur. How can you have 88 seats and then against 275? If you take 275 and you take 88, how many seats are left? And if you look at the population, let's just keep that 12 or 13 million who voted. So why will you be making this elusive statement? But like I said, that is right to think the way he wants to think. But you don't convince anybody with this GHS type of analysis.
GHS type of analysis.
Seriously.
That you expected them to do better than this.
Yeah, I expect him. You see, you have the minority leader. Of course, I'm not saying everything he does is low level, but utterances mean a lot. You see, your utterances mean a lot. You are talking about power and you are to hold the government in check. You might be doing what is right, but some of the pronouncements, democracy, and when you come, you restore the Chief Justice and other things. What do you mean by that? Does the country belong to you? You see, there's a wider population that is there, and you must radiate what you call confidence, a high level of integrity and responsibility. You see, voting for you, the statements he's been making, does he consult every member of his constituency? Do you know how democracy is? In 1973, Spiro Agnew was the vice president to, what do you call him, late Nixon. For tax evasion, he was removed as vice president. Did the Republican Party demonstrate?